Hey, everybody. Well, right now you're catching this replay because it's just the three of us on. And that's okay. We want to just congratulate you for plugging into this last call of the year. And we're going to give you a little bit more details on that. And we are going to wrap it up by talking about team building and kind of, deepening deepening your experience with this business, really diving into explore the potential. When we created this boot camp, when we talked about doing this, at the end of the day, we want to teach people how to be successful in the realm of social selling. Because we believe we're all selling something, right? Just some of us are getting paid to do so. And when you fall in love with a product like Juice Plus and it impacts your family, or you just believe in the power of plants, that's something you can share with everyone, right? And so it's a product that aligns, and why not share that with the people around you and do that on social media and do it well and feel good about it. But sharing this also does look different for all of us. If sharing the product can look different, also inviting people into the business can look different. And we want to talk about that. Like, what was different in our beginnings, with Juice Plus as the product started in our families and the business, to give you permission that it can look different for you, right? But we also wanted to, in this, 4 weeks together, we wanted to continue to build your belief in the product, your belief in this business and industry, and belief in yourself. So when you're looking at the success of the last 4 weeks, where are you at in that belief in each of those areas? Because when you believe in the product, you share the product. When you believe in yourself, you show up confidently. When you believe in this business and this industry, you share that too. And, we can make it all the way to the top commission level of the company. Everyone can do this, just sharing the product. And that is fine. That is fine. But when your belief starts to grow and you see this potential and you understand, you explore what it could look like for you if you started sharing the business, wow, that's where things can really change. And so today we want to talk about that. I said yes to the product and the business at the same time. And I love talking about the business. I really do. From the tax advantages that we talked about in the very beginning, of being a small business owner. I love that. I love bringing in the extra income to have those options for our family. And it's afforded me the ability to do so in my own time and from where I've been. And that can be for all of you too. The course this week that you're going to look at is building your team. And some of the things you're going to see and hear in there are different from what we've talked about in this boot camp. They just are. Network marketing has been around for a long time, and Juice Plus has been around for a very long time. And so when we talk about, not your mother's network marketing and changing the tide and, really focusing on social selling, you have to remember that this has been done a certain way without all of social media and all this for years. And so it might seem like, oh, some of those things don't align with what we're doing or what we're talking about. And that's okay. You have options. You might see something in that course and be like, that sounds really good to me. That's how I want to do it. One of those being three-way calls. I have done less than a handful of three-way calls in 7 years. I think Kira and I might have gotten on a couple with her prospects. I probably brought a couple on to talk with Jackie, but we also did other things in person, like, hey, let's go to coffee and stuff. Because in how we're sharing it for the boot camp now, we're saying, when you have those 1s and 2s, like maybe it's not a fit or they just want the product, or 4s and 5s, like let's get started. The 3s are the ones where they might just need a little extra, someone else to come alongside and share why Juice Plus made sense to them. So you can utilize three-way calls like that, or it can be how you share Juice Plus. And really, the three-way call can help build confidence in the beginning, just like why we wanted you guys to do your comfort call, right? Let you hear us talk about Juice Plus. And then the next step of that is, of course, like, how do we share with someone what Juice Plus is as a business? But I always love to go back to something that Jackie used to tell me, like, why you said yes is enough for the next person. Why I said yes to the product is enough for the next person. Why I said yes to the business is enough for the next person. It doesn't have to be more than why you said yes for you to bring it up, right? Like, hey, this made sense to me. I wanted to share it with you. Does it resonate? Where does it fall with you? You know, if anything along the line, I hope you've, really adapted to the being direct and, clear is kind, and, that verbiage where you're just asking your network, hey, has anyone talked to you about the business side of Juice Plus? We have videos you can share. You can share your own story. But I want you to know, like, it can look different for everyone, and that's okay. So Jackie's story, as far as how she started with the business, is really different from how Kira and I did. So, Jackie, would you share a little bit about like that first year and a half, and then that transition?
Yeah. Well, interestingly, I started the business and the product at the same time. So I signed up for both right away because I knew at the very least that this product was something I wanted me and my family to be on for at least a year, right? So I knew we wanted to get it at the best possible price. And at the same time, I also knew that if I saw that this was a good fit for me and my family for our nutritional needs, someone who lived a generally pretty healthy lifestyle, I knew there were going to be a lot of people in my social circles that could also see it benefiting them. So I knew right away I wanted at least to be the person that could share it with them. But I didn't necessarily intentionally go out and share it with people that the first year and a half, almost 2 years that I was a partner with the company. And I don't recommend that. And I'll explain why. But I didn't. At the time, it just wasn't great timing for me. I was actually pregnant with my third son when I signed up for Juice Plus. So, had a newborn baby. I was running my own private boot camp business. And so I was super busy there. But the real reason why I didn't go out and intentionally share Juice Plus is that I didn't know what I didn't know. So at the time, I saw Juice Plus as just a product that, my friends would casually and organically share with their friends. I never really saw this purposeful, intentional approach to quote unquote build a business with the company. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing either. So we invite people into this opportunity to do it in a way that works for them. At the time in my life, that's what worked for me. I just wanted a way to casually share this product with other people when I was in conversations with them and they would say something that it was pertinent to. And that worked for me for a short time. The way I like to describe it is it was like organic, natural, and just kind of something I would casually share. Then the catalyst for me to make it more of an intentional, purposeful process was an event that I went to. Actually, Rachel and I went to a relatively large event called the Dallas Success Summit in 2016. At this event, we got to hear other people's stories outside of just our social circle. We got to see people who had been with the company for years or decades who are highly successful and highly skillful in growing businesses. And at that moment, I was like, oh, wait, there's another way to do this. It's not just something that, people kind of do here and there, when it comes up. This is something they're actually intentionally going out and sharing with people and creating a real residual income. And so from that moment on, I was like, well, that's what I want to do. I want to go out and actually build a real income with this. And so my mindset around what was possible shifted. And it shifted because I was exposed through that event to a greater possibility. And so I tell you that because if I had been exposed to that greater possibility of what was really, possible with a business model like this, I might have pursued it sooner. I might not have, based on my life circumstances. Who's to say, But when I was exposed to that experience, it changed everything for me. From that point moving forward, Rachel and I together were like, let's do this. So we decided to intentionally build a community inside this business model. And the way we did that is we intentionally invited people in to take a look at it. That's all we did. We did that a variety of different ways. So we did that through, one-on-one connections. Rachel did a lot of texting and emailing initially. We held a lot of events, whether they were, small local events at our coffee shop to in our home to bigger like seminar type events. We did those quite regularly. And that eventually evolved to a point where some of the people that we had invited in to take a closer look at what we were doing wanted to start doing what we were doing. So they started to do their own intentional process of this business, inviting people in their own way, hosting their own events, building their own community of people. And that eventually snowballs. And that's the beauty of a business model like network marketing, is that your efforts and your intentions in the very beginning, they eventually compound and they snowball. And then that snowball starts to go down that hill so fast and it gets so big that you couldn't even stop the snowball if you wanted to stop the snowball. And that's when people get really excited about network marketing. Those are the stories that you hear about how it completely changed their life, or they got to go on year-long RV trips with their family, or build their dream home, or buy their husband a truck, or save for their kids' college, or retire their spouse or themselves. Those are the kinds of stories you hear. And in the back of your mind, you're like, who are those people? That's not real life. But the reality is they're people just like us who learned that there is a greater opportunity inside of a business model like this. And then they intentionally put themselves inside it, intentionally followed the process, and grew their belief in what they were doing as they grew their community and they grew personally and professionally themselves. And so I like to kind of describe it as like there's two main paths that you can take inside of a business model like ours. You can continue to build a customer-based business, like Rachel's saying, get to the top of that commission plan or commission in our compensation plan, where you are earning the most back on your products and the customers' products that you share it with. And that's great. Our business model allows for that. There's also this other track, this leadership track is what we call it, where you can go out and you can intentionally invite people in to look at what you do and how you do it, which is to share the business model at the same time. I recommend doing a little bit of both and seeing kind of which one takes off for you, and you can get that snowball going. But know that both are an option and both create real income potential for you. It's just a matter of how intentional you want to be in that process.
Let's talk about that for a second, the snowball effect and what happened when we started inviting into the business. Because some people might just think, oh, well, everyone that they invited in wanted to build really big businesses, and like they just hit the top because everyone was wanting to, hit the top. That wasn't the case. I mean, for any of us, right? Like we had what our teams have consisted of. It's consisted of people who are just building customers. That's right. It. Yeah. It has consisted of people who have like one or two teammates, just a couple people on board with them. And it's consisted of people who have a lot. But like that snowball, it even looks different, and I want us to talk about that, or just, make mention of that, because the way you're working your business right now, if you had 10 people doing that, with 2 or 3 customers, that's very powerful in our marketing plan, which is very cool because you can do a little or a lot.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say 80% of your team will be doing a little. 80%, which is the bulk of your team, are just doing, they're just getting their product at the best price. They're sharing it with their closest friends and family, and they're happy doing that. And we're happy that they're doing that. 80% of your business builders, your business community are just doing a little. Then you have about 20% who are a little bit more intentional in their business, and they're sharing just a little bit more people. And that's really the dynamics of the business, generally speaking.
And a sweet spot for a lot of people is $300 to $500 a month, right? I mean, it's, getting to that second to third level, QSC, qualified sales coordinator, and making about $300 to $500 a month. But when you start adding team, that's when a paycheck really can change. And I was thinking too, sometimes people will say, you'll hear people say network marketing doesn't work. All three of us can say our bank accounts say otherwise. I mean, we are literally getting deposits into our account every month. And that's no joke. We're not lying and we're not making income claims, but it works enough that we're getting deposits into our accounts for what we're doing, so this does work, and those naysayers will exist, but it is the intention.
I think the important highlight about naysayers is naysayers naysay about things they don't understand. And that's it, right? You can naysay about just about anything. When you don't understand how it really works, you can see where a lot of those opinions or comments come from.
And we talked about this in the business presentation. Kira has been very vulnerable in sharing, her feelings on network marketing in the beginning. And would you say you were a naysayer, Kira?
I was there, yes.
So
I understand. Mm-hmm.
Would you share a little bit about that? Because we know you said yes to the product, your belief for your kids and all of that. But how did that look for you as far as the business building piece goes? Because we all three, like we said, we signed up for the product and the business at the same time. And Kira's intentions in the beginning were family planner. I'm going to save money on my family's orders. So.
Yeah. For me at the beginning, I didn't really understand. I didn't understand at all how to make money or how to build a business. I think probably 99% of people come into the business not really looking to build a business. And so we're just, as Rachel and Jackie are saying, we honor that and we're mindful of that when we do invite people to become family planners or to get their product at the best price or to just share with their close friends and family. Because a lot of people, the reality is they don't come in looking to, what Jackie mentioned, go on a year-long RV trip with their family, build a dream house, buy a husband, a truck, any of that, that's just not what people come into the business. Really, the more sustainable thing is that $300 to $500 a month. So when I said yes to the business, it was for the discount. And then with a little bit of belief, when we had a good experience with the community and the product. And then I was starting to understand more that it's true, Jackie and Rachel are actually making an income. And I think it was important for me for where I was at, because we all did the same thing. We worked at the same place. We were all fitness instructors in the same place. That's how we met. And for me, it was but they're wearing Lululemon, right? We all have the same job. I teach more than them or whatever. I want those workout clothes. And for me, it was that kind of idea. It was the difference maker. Okay, what are they doing differently? We're all making the same amount of money or whatever. And the reality was Juice Plus. So then that's kind of what opened my eyes to that, that difference and that income opportunity. And so once I did have my eyes opened, it was the $300 to $500 a month. I literally remember being I just want to buy a Lululemon outfit a month. I remember thinking that. And then I did that, and that was okay, that's cool, but I want, and it just kept growing for me. And I think that's a way that a lot of people enter into the business. And then by the time that I did get my business going, and it was just for each of you, it was 3 to 5 hours a week into something much greater. And I didn't really know, I didn't still understand like how I was making money, but just like the steps of these boot camps or this boot camp, I was getting customers. I was taking care of customers by enhancing the customer experience. And then really simply because Rachel and Jackie told me to, literally, I started inviting people into the business. I didn't know what I was doing or why. And then throughout the journey of my entire Juice Plus career, I suppose, for lack of a better term, for the last 6 years, I have done both. And I think that that has led to a very robust business. It first started with customers, and then I started adding in that business option. And that's when I remember back in the day, we used to call it Comma Club, when you would receive your first comma in your paycheck. And I didn't understand that but I was like, oh, when people start seeing $1,000 or more. So just you're on track to do within this boot camp, you know, the 12 weeks to 2K. So I hit Comma Club, and that was because I started relatively quickly, because I started building a business. Again, if you were to ask me today, like what percentage of my paycheck comes from where, I could not tell you. But I do know that the times that I have had lower customers in a month, but I've had a stronger business. I mean, really for a year, I can't say that. I'm not going to give you timelines, but my paycheck has pretty much remained always consistent, whether it was building team or whether it was building a customer base. And it didn't always necessarily happen together within the same month, but I always had a consistent and growing paycheck while I did those things. And I have one other thing to say about that. I forget. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Ideally, I mean, like, if we were to talk about like a perfect business building that kind of always goes on this nice incline that grows over time, it's what we've talked about called the 5 and 1. So it's, you know, like an ideal business is 5 customers a month and 1 new teammate. And that can guarantee this really nice steady growth in your business and your paycheck and all of the different things. But I don't know that there's ever been, I've probably averaged 5 and 1s, you know, if we look over a long amount of time. Yeah, maybe I average over a 12-month period, 5 customers per month and 1 new business partner or whatever. And so that's just kind of like a nice guideline. But we get to be flexible with our approach. And I am so grateful that I finally started to understand the impact that building the business aspect of the Juice Plus business was, not only for my paycheck, not only for leadership and community and growth, but also the way that I've impacted families. I mean, I can pull out a bunch of my team members and their stories and what this business has done for them, having a $300 to $500 paycheck a month, having a, you know, comma in their paycheck each month, what that's done for their family and the ability to have opportunities and dreams. And that's the difference maker for me. It's not just about, you know, the cash dollar in my bank account, but like knowing that people are looking for this, even if they're not actively looking to build a business or, you know, a franchise. This is significant.
That is so powerful. When you put it like that, it really does put it into perspective that what we're offering people in the product and the business is the option that they get to choose. And I think at the end of the day, when we make that decision for them and decide like not to share one or the other, I mean, I don't know. I think it goes back to belief, right? Like maybe you're not quite sure it's for real, or, you know, I remember saying like, it just seems so good to be true in the beginning, you know, like, what if it all crumbles? What if everyone leaves? And it's like, but all the people you help in the meantime, isn't that worth it? You know, all those lives, all those families that have the choice, that have the option, when you give them that option, And I mean, Jackie, because I signed up under Jackie and Kira signed up under me. I mean, Jackie, when you think about all those families, and we were just going to talk about building a team starts with talking about it. I mean, we want to make it harder than it is, but really it's just, you have to talk about it. If you have no team, you can ask yourself, have I talked about the business? And the likelihood is fairly high that the answer is no. And we want you to feel empowered, and here's your permission. Like, you could have been with this company for 1 day or 20 years, and you still can offer this opportunity to anyone that you would want to. So any closing statements or closing thoughts that either?
I'll just add to that, Rachel. If you're not talking about, what we offer as a whole inside of our Juice Plus company, both the product and this business opportunity, it just means you need to increase your experience with it and build your belief around it. And you do that through things that we're handing to you to work through. So I want to encourage you, as we, wrap up this first 4 weeks, to go back in the next 2 weeks through everything, whether you've completed it or you haven't. Go back as kind of a review. Start from the very beginning in week 1, when you do your Welcome to Juice Plus hub course. Go back through there. It's going to look different to you. You're going to have a different understanding of it now that we've kind of talked through some things. And in there, it starts to tell you, like, how can you increase your earnings? What are the first couple levels? What is the first commission or the highest commission level? Like, that's all those pieces are going to start to fit together better for you. That's how you build your belief in what we're doing, and how you can start to feel a little bit more confident in offering that to others. So go back through all 4 weeks in the first 4 of the boot camp. Work through those things, especially the ones that you didn't get to at that time. So if you missed a training call or you didn't catch a hub course, take the next 2 weeks to catch up. Okay, so we're giving you the next 2 weeks to catch up. And then we're going to come back in the beginning of the year on January 3rd, reconvene, and go from there. So that's kind of your final hurrah to do as we close out this year and we mark the first 4 weeks of our 12-week boot camp. Other than that, have a Merry Christmas. Enjoy your time with your family. And please reach out to us if you ever have any questions or concerns as you work through this process. And just remember, it is a process. And trust that process. Let us guide you through it. And the outcome will be one that you'll be thankful for if you apply it. So with that, we'll see you guys in the new year.